So, hi everyone, welcome back to our channel, and as always 1444. If you're clicking on here, there was actually a part 1 to this video, so you might want to watch that first, and if you're coming from there, great. So I thought I hit stop, and I was like, oh, I'm going to leave my phone here. Yeah, I ended up hitting, or I thought I hit pause, and I ended up hitting stop. It just was meant to be that way. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about, we're just going to continue a reading. Just our communication got interrupted just temporarily. Our process got interrupted temporarily. What I did want to talk about, though, was I was going to read the 2 cards we have. This is the one that came out for us. This is our part 2, okay? And then continuing with the Emerald Tablet activation. And then we are going to read both of them so that you can, All right, so the Thoth Light Tarot, or no, not, maybe that's a thing. This is Thoth Light Codes. So, this says, Thoth, also known as Tehuti, is the ancient Egyptian ibis-headed god of writing, divine magic, and the moon. Acknowledged as a sacred scribe who created writing, he is considered to be the great mind behind the hieroglyphics and the maintainer of the Egyptian universe. It is said he was the priest king of Atlantis and was dedicated to leading the Atlantean people in a loving way that was firm but fair. However, no matter how hard he tried to direct them, many of them didn't obey the spiritual laws of the universe, which inevitably led to the downfall and end of their civilization. This gateway takes you to a place where you can connect with the energetic frequency that Thoth carries. As a master teacher of these stars, he holds space for you to connect with some of your greatest gifts from this lifetime and the many others you've lived. Thoth's primary teaching is spiritual integrity, and he's working alongside a powerful congregation of evolved souls who are referred to as ascended Atlanteans to guide those who are ready to increase their awareness. He specializes in finding those who are finding it difficult to make spiritual progress, to rise above the aspects of their life that are holding them back, and he helps awaken the teacher within, thus, so you can guide yourself out of these situations. To connect, it says, chant, Tehuti, 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 until you feel a shift in the energy around you, and then say, Thoth, great priest of Atlantis, great priest king of Atlantis, and divine scribe of ancient Egypt, thank you for initiating and awakening the great teacher within me. And we were talking about how, the burning was the accidental burning, the incident with the sticks, how that was like an initiation. That's what I was feeling. It was an accidental initiation. It was kind of like, again, Spirit forgot about you, Spirit forgot about your purpose, or like not forgot about you, but just knew you were in storage and was like, the day will come for, them to shine, for your moment, and then this is it being activated, like, oh, like, oops, we had a sleeper, like, no, activate them, wake them up so they can come celebrate, so they can come teach others, so they can come be the leaders, the revolutionary leaders, the inspiring artists, right, the bohemian revolution people, right, that culture of like love and art, maybe not so much the drinking, but the love and the art, and maybe not so much, everything else, but the creation of life. It says, your message, you are blessed to connect with Thoth. You are going through a powerful set of light initiations at this time, and these are preparing you to lead and teach from a powerful space of love. In order to complete the process, there will be a release of old ideas and limiting stories, but this is necessary for you to connect with the true inner power within you. Don't be concerned by the intensity of the energies that surround you right now. Facing shadow parts of yourself and your story is essential for connecting with divine magic, and evolved beings of light are there to guide the way. If you have any concerns or fears at this time, know that when fear gets loud, it's because you're on the cusp of something extremely powerful. There was a thing I read in this Be Still and Know 365 Days of Hope and Encouragement for Women, where it says your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. It's that thing. It's that ego. It's that fear. It's that trauma flaring. It's those triggers flaring because they know you're on the breakthrough of passing it, of transcending that fear, of transcending that demon, of passing that devil, of putting that devil, that trauma, that fear, that insecurity, that hindering thought, that hindering belief behind you. And, what do people do when, it's like right when someone knows they like, let's say someone did something wrong, and it's right before like you're about to discover them and they already know it. They know you're going to discover them. They know you found their weak spot, because they were playing on yours all the time, right? It's those people who would always come at you with the thing that they know hurt you the most. But when you find out their weak spot and you're like, I'm removing you completely. I am not dealing with this game. I'm not playing this anymore. That's when they're like, oh, no, 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 no. But remember this, but remember this time, but remember this time. And then don't do it, because if you go by yourself alone, you're not going to be able to make it alone. You're going to have to always need someone. You're going to go find, a worse devil, right? They always say, the devil you fear. Something about the devil. Oh gosh. New levels, new devils. That's one thing. I get that. But there's another one where it's like, the devil is not better than the devil you don't, type of thing, where they're like, but you know me, you already know what I like, you know what I don't dislike, right? Or like, you know everything about me, like, no, 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 don't leave me, you can stay here, you'll be comfortable, I'll do this, right? It's those people who promise to change, but you know that like they still have a lot more work to do that needs to be done away from you, type of thing. And it's that thing where it's like, no, 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 remember that time you fell? You can't get on the bike again. You fell. That's like fear talking into the ear of a baby. Like, no, 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 you can't walk. You can't walk again because we already fell. We fell like 300 times. You can't pull up on that because it's going to fall down. You can't do this. You can't do that. It's the fucking annoying fear and thoughts that just keep popping up. And the reason it keeps popping up is because you are on the verge of like a huge energy, of a huge transcendence, of a huge initiation. You're being welcomed home into a new community of ascended people, of like ascended masters in terms of emotional intelligence, a new circle of emotional intelligent people, and you're going to guide each other. But there's this thing where it says if you're the smartest person in the room, chances it's like you're in the wrong room. You don't ever want to be the smartest person in the room unless you are there specifically as a teacher. And even then you will learn from your students. But if you feel like you can just tell there's no more growth, or there's no more room for growth, because otherwise it's kind of just like shitting on them type of energy, like, damn, I just shitting on them, right? Like you're just like, you don't want to make them keep like look bad because they're not changing, because they're not ascending, because they're not changing, because they don't want to learn. You don't want to keep presenting them with information that you can clearly tell they are not mentally capable of receiving or perceiving yet. So spirit is like, get into a different room. I know it's going to be scary and I know you're going to be intimidated, but you know what? This is where I need you. I need you to be in the different room. I need you to be in a room full of more like-minded individuals, full of more energy that will help you grow and ascend and teach you. Because yeah, anytime you're about to make, a life change that's going to be good for you, right? When you're removing yourself from those devil energies, from those draining energies, from those toxic things, from those insecurities, from those addictions, name one time there has not been a fucking fight back against that. You tell yourself, no, if you stay here, you already know how to deal with this addiction. You already know how to deal with this person. It's okay, just stay here. This is where you're comfortable. And Spirit's like, no, you're meant to grow. You're meant to have more beautiful opportunities presented to you. Like, if this person wants to, they will step it up a level and they will reach you, right? But don't let people keep holding you back because of that fear. Because it's like you're on the verge of something grand. The devil wouldn't be after you unless you didn't have that huge potential within you to help God's kingdom, to help your kingdom, to help ascend the conscious mind, right? If we see the devil as the subconscious, yeah. No, actually, it'd be kind of reversed. If the devil is the ego, the unhealthy ego, versus your conscious mind making those healthier decisions for you, your higher self, your healthy conscious ego, they're going against each other, right? And it's like, one is like, no, 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 no change, no change. The other one's like, we need a welcome change. We need a welcome change so that we can change, so that we can grow, so that we can evolve, so that we can have new levels. Like, it's like, if you ever feel like you're just bored and you're just like losing your mind, it's because you've been in the same level for so long and Spirit's like, go. If you feel that go energy, it's because Spirit's like, I need you to go to the next level. I need you to try the next thing. I need you to stop like being on that cliff and not jumping, because what all it's doing is it's making you anxious, and you're like, I need to do something, I need to do something, I need to do something. I know I was supposed to do something. How do I do this? How do I do this? Will I die? Will I fall? Yes, it's okay to think about those things, but don't overthink it to the point where you're sitting on that cliff for years, just full of anxiety, full of fucking fear and anger inside of you. Because then you're gonna have anger coming up too, because your spirit, your higher self is like, we told you to jump and we would catch you, and you are still there, and it is hurting you, and you are willingly standing there. Stop standing there. And it's gonna get to the point where, if you know, like spirit will just be like twiddle their thumbs a little bit, and then they're just gonna be like, boom. And that's where that tower energy comes in. And we don't want that tower energy to come in for you guys. We want you to consciously take that step and be like, I know this tower is crumbling. I know this foundation is crumbling. I know that there is nothing else I can do to the infrastructure of this building to prevent it. I have to leave it in the hands of the people who live here and trust that they will rebuild the infrastructure, trust that they will reinforce the infrastructure while I'm gone. But it's time for me to leave. Otherwise, I'm going to be doing all this by myself. And I know I'm tired. I know I can't keep doing it on my own. I can't keep patching up all the cracks in the walls. I cannot keep doing it all on my own. I will tire myself to the detrimental point of health, mind, body, and soul. So I need to just go. And Spirit's saying this is the time for you to just go, because if you just go, you're teaching them to up themselves. Because if you're there all the time doing this for someone and catering to someone, you are not giving them that space to grow. And it's actually hindering you. It's actually hindering both of you. Strange. We have Emerald Tablet Activation. We're going to read that one. Ooh, right to it. Well, I mean, after, but yeah. Okay, so Emerald Tablet Activation, Cosmic Ordering, Divine Alchemy, Conscious Manifesting. The Emerald Tablet is one of the most celebrated of the Hermetic texts, a series of sacred Egyptian Greek texts from the 2nd century or earlier. They form the basis of Hermeticism, a spiritual tradition that brings together science and spirituality through investigations into the cosmos, mind, and nature. Most of the texts are a series of dialogues between a teacher and a student and are based on the concept of alchemy, the art of turning lead into gold, or something that is leaden and heavy into a golden opportunity. The Emerald Tablet is said to have been carved on a bright green stone that was transported to Egypt around the fall of Atlantis and stored in the great halls of Amenti under the Great Pyramid. Although this legend is widespread, the origin of the text is shrouded in mystery. That's actually kind of crazy, because these two are actually, ooh, that's really cool. I'll show you the next one in a second. But these two actually go hand in hand, because Thoth is literally the Atlantean priest king. And then you have the text, and then when Atlantis fell, this tablet magically appeared in the Hall of Amenti, which is located under the Great Pyramid. But isn't that interesting? You know, it's like him taking his wisdom and moving it with him, because he's like, okay, well, that civilization is falling, right? The Atlanteans are falling because they weren't listening. They weren't trying to elevate themselves. And he left, you know, with the fall of the civilization. And then that's when this text magically appears under, you know, the pyramid in Egypt. So this says, we do know that it is made up of 14 passages, which first appeared in a book written sometime between the 6th and 8th centuries and has been highly influential. Its most famous statement is, as above, so below. Ooh. I didn't know this was a real book. It's kind of cool. Meaning that what is in the high heavens is reflected upon the earth. Remember, as within, so without. How I act within, it's going to reflect externally. Who I am within myself will reflect externally. And sometimes you're challenged, because think about it, if you are a light, you're going to draw lower vibrational shadows to you, but that actually gives you an opportunity to see, do I embody that shadow in some way, shape, or form? Is that person's darkness actually a part of me? And like my darkness calls to them just as much. So just be mindful of those things. But also, honey attracts flies just as much as it does the bees. So those fly energies come and, you know, they stink. It's okay. Just know the difference between a fly and a bee. One can teach you and one will bug you. So just, all right. It says, the author signs off as Hermes Trismegistus. Trismegistus, which is another name for Thoth, who is featured in this deck. Dude, and then we did, and it says, see page 159. And we got our teacher right here, and is thought to have been the priest king of Atlantis. The idea is that he knew of the approaching end of that civilization and hid the Emerald Tablet and many other teachings in order to preserve them for spiritual aspirants in the future. Dude, that's crazy, because I hadn't read that, because I was waiting purposely to share that with you guys, to experience it with you guys. It's just really exciting. Just saying, we have a good, it's like, God is good, Spirit is good, we have a good one. It says, to connect, recite the Emerald Tablet's most famous words, as above, so below. As above, so below. Working the miracles of one, all things come from one. One love, one God, one universal energy, one conscious mass collective energy. Your message. When the Emerald Tablet activation card appears, you are being called to remember the gifts you are carrying from previous lifetimes. Even if you don't always understand how to express them, there's a part of you that knows you hold great power within, and that is why fear pops up. The devil, the wounded ego, would not come for you if it didn't know that you had gold and jewels and beautiful, wonderful energy and teachings within you that you are ready to share now with the world. It says, this is a special time for you to use that power to bring into manifestation all that you need for your life to unfold in a way that is in alignment with your best interests. All that has unfolded so far has given you the opportunity to learn and grow, even the unsettling moments. But you are a master alchemist with the capacity to take all that was once challenging and use it to create positive opportunities for yourself. As above, so below. All the thoughts you send up to Source will contribute to your evolution on Earth. Everything you pray, it's going to come back to you. So pray for your neighbors, pray for your friends, pray for your enemies, right? If you're praying for your enemy, you're addressing that shadow within yourself and you're saying, you know what, maybe I do act like that. Maybe that's why they think we would get along. Maybe that's why they keep challenging me. They, you know, that part of them wants to see, oh, this is another thing too. If someone has a wounded ego, and it's kind of like an ugly wounded ego, right? It's a lot of fear, a lot of hate, a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, jealousy, envy, whatever. It's a wounded ego. Your ego is good, but sometimes it can get you into that fear-based. If your ego is running off of fear, that's where hate, anger, resentment comes up. If it's running off of love, that's where your joy, your happiness, your healthy pride comes in. Gotta read more on healthier ego. You're more giving. Instead of being selfish, you're more giving because you're like, it'll come back. But within a boundary, right? You don't do it to the detriment of your health and yourself. But it says, as above, so below. All the thoughts you send up to Source will contribute to evolution on Earth. And I like it because, so the card right here that was under this one, I always like looking like 1-2 cards under the deck. Ooh, yes. I was going to say 1, 2, or 3 cards, and we have beautiful cards. We have Soul Star Activation, fulfilling soul contracts, remembering who you are, right? And then right under that, you have Karmic Board Clearing, energetic clearing, rewrite your story, live your truth. And then one of these other ones was talking about how it's now time for you to view your story differently, rewrite your story, rewrite what it means to you, right? Did it happen to you or did it happen for you, right? How did it help you grow? How did your situation, right? The unsettling situation, the unsettling moments, how did those actually challenge you to grow into the more evolved person that you are now? Like, how did it teach you that love is more unconditional? How did you grow from that? How did you help yourself heal from that? How did you love yourself unconditionally, past the shame, past the feelings of regret and remorse and betrayal and hate and anger you had towards yourself? How did you heal from that? How did you love yourself past that? How did you forgive yourself? And that's going to be what you're going to be able to teach to others. And just in case you're wondering, it does say Stargate, heart chakra opening, unlocking generosity. Because again, if you are operating from a place that is love, because dude, I could go all days with tying these together, so let's just stick to these. Karmic Board Clearing, rewrite your story, energetic clearing, live your truth. So this And then this one saying, remembering who you are, fulfilling soul contracts, remembering why you came here and who you really truly are. Remembering why you loved singing in the first place before someone made you feel bad about screaming your head off. Remembering why you felt you loved art before someone stole your sketchbook. Remembering why you felt you loved love before someone broke your heart and betrayed your trust. Remembering why you loved truth and honesty and you honored honesty and you valued it before you got betrayed and, you know, deceit came in, whatever. Remembering who you are truly at your core, at your essence, that you are loved. You are loved. You are your neighbor. You are yourself. You know, that thing where we are, what is it? We're only as strong as our weakest link. Your team is only as strong as your weakest link. And we, humanity, are the fucking team. So we're a little low sometimes, but we're also super high and evolved sometimes, right? And then, so think of it as humanity as that, but then also think of it as humanity being your dark side, your shadow side, as well as your light side. I'm like hot, like, it's getting hot in here. So take off all your clothes. I am getting so hot. I'm gonna take my clothes off. You are all those aspects of yourself, the parts you wish you could burn away, the parts that you wish you could discard, the parts that you don't want to accept. You are all of them, and learning how to accept all of them, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the beautiful, and the glorious, and the wonderful. If you can accept all of them and be proud of all of them, it doesn't mean you're proud of that ugly moment you had, but you're proud of the fact that you moved past it and you learned such a valuable lesson. You learned how to control your anger. You learned how to operate from a place of love rather than fear. You learned how to conquer your fears. You learned, don't go to that place. Don't go to that house. Don't call that person. Don't call that place. Don't show up at that place looking like that. Don't show up at this place looking like this. Like, you learn, and that is the part that you should honor and love. Did you make a mistake? Yes. Learn how to have compassion and self-forgiveness for yourself. You know, if the society doesn't want to, you know, forgive you for that and they just keep condemning you and shaming you for something that you did, that's society. Do it, but don't be society. Don't be that collective wounded ego. Be that conscious ego, that awareness, that loving awareness, and be like, you messed up. Okay, you did. You should not have done that. And it's like, now do better. Be better. You done fucked up already, so what? Are you gonna sit here and keep crying about it? No, you're not. You're gonna get up, you're gonna get your shit together, and then you're gonna step into the leadership position you are meant to. You are gonna lead yourself out of this gunk. You are gonna take yourself out of this mud. You're gonna take yourself out of this shitty situation you put yourself in, and you're gonna lead yourself. You're gonna help yourself. You're not gonna keep sitting here waiting for someone, because no one's gonna show up if, you know, you've been abandoned. And if you've been abandoned, look at it like that. But also know you're not the only one who's been abandoned. There's a whole collective energy of people who have been abandoned. And you know what? Why it's such a huge thing, why it's actually all of us, because we have all abandoned ourselves. You want to know why humanity has this, such a huge abandonment wound? Why it flares so much is because we all fucking abandoned ourselves first. Before our moms did it, before our parents did it, before our friends did it, before our lovers did it, before our job did it, before our school did it. We abandoned ourselves. We weren't honoring ourselves. We weren't living in our truth. We abandoned parts of us that we didn't like, that society told us was bad. Right? And it's like, and when I say that, I don't mean you're going out and hurting people. That is actually a place of fear of lack of control, lots of whole other stuff for that. When I say that, I mean, they told you, don't sing, don't dance, don't wear that, don't talk like that, don't approach people like that. You can't be like that. You can't be kind like that. Everyone will think it's flirting. So you abandoned a very beautiful, loving part of yourself because society didn't know how to not sexually objectify a beautiful woman being kind. Like, it's my problem that you as an individual have to perceive everything like that. No. And that's the other problem too. There's the depravity, right? And then that causes the objectification of women and males as sexual objects. And it doesn't allow you to see the beautiful person that they really truly are underneath. Because you're so, like, in your own head about what you want, what you need. Instead of seeing, you know what, my time will come. Spirit will show me my partner when they're meant to. I will have those moments and it will be beautiful. But it's like, you don't have to view everyone as a sexual object. Because then you're just throwing more of that energy around. That lack energy, that lack mentality. That it's just like, it's a lack mentality. You know? All right, this reading is done. I am actually really, really hot. Crown chakra upgrade. Divine connection, holy experiences, miraculous energy. Your crown chakra is here. It is you connecting, you getting those downloads. Ooh, there's a crazy thing actually going on today, and I love that this is all tying in beautifully. So the hot flashes I'm getting, there is actually, ooh, and it's the corona, it's the crown. So there are actually, oh gosh, I can't think of what they're called right now. The sun is actually flaring right now. So the sun, it has a plasma ring around it, and it is actually called the corona, which is like a plasma ring of, just think of like a lot of solar magnetic energy around it. It's like it's atmosphere, the sun's atmosphere, pretty much. It's called the corona, which means the crown. And I love that I got hot flashes going. Not really, but I'm really warm. But with this crown chakra upgrade thing, divine connection, holy experiences, miraculous energy, it's actually happening today, the 23rd of March. And it's funny because by the time you watch this, it's probably not going to be the 23rd of March. But anyways, it's happening today. It's super symbolic. When these flares, it's called like an eruption. So I'm going to guess it's a corona magnetic eruption. I don't know if that's a thing. But the plasma pretty much just like the energy just flares out from the sun like this. And it can directly impact us or kind of side sweep the planet Earth. And what it does is, it doesn't like suddenly the planet gets hot. No, what it actually does is it messes with our actual electromagnetic field. So like animals that migrate based off of magnetic fields, they will actually be disoriented for a little bit. And it's crazy that it's saying, you know, this divine connection, this upgrade, because it's pretty much, it'll mess with anything magnetic pretty much. And humans are magnetic. We run on magnetism. I don't know. But it's kind of crazy because it's happening today. And also it disrupts like phone lines, technology, anything that has to do with any type of wavelength frequency. It'll like interrupt it because of the electromagnetic solar flare from it. So it's crazy. Lots of upgrades today. Lots of beautiful, wonderful energy. Lots of people just getting upgraded. Maybe it's all, you know how they said the ascended Atlanteans that are being called to be these teachers? This is what it's all about today. It's all about you finally waking up. We had our accidental initiation. Right, we had our accidental little bonfire, but it was accidental to me. But was it accidental? Did I know they were gonna burn up? Yeah, I did. I had an idea of it, and I was like, dry wood, pretty dry. It's been up here in dry environment for like a year. Let me just light it. Did I know I was gonna drop in? It was gonna burn me? No, because I got distracted by talking. But either way, you had that initiation today. You had that period of growth. You had that moment of growth, and it's just like a celebratory, like you did it. Like congratulations. You survived initiation through the fire. You didn't get burned. Just like when they threw those people into the oven, and I don't remember who it was. It was like in the Bible. They threw them all into the oven. Initiation by fire. That's what it feels like. They actually threw them into the fire to burn them, to kill them, because they didn't like their beliefs. They didn't like their story they were telling. They didn't like the way they were acting. They didn't believe them. They saw them as a threat. So they threw them into a fire oven to burn them. Not only was it just, oh, we're going to burn them, just turn it up to level 4. It was like, oh, level 4 scorches people. Let's turn it up to level 18. Let's turn it up to level 20. They wanted, and like people were burning, just getting near this oven. They couldn't even get near the oven because of how hot it was. Imagine being thrown into it. Not only did you go through that little fall, have that little scrape, you also got fucking burned from it. You also broke a leg from it. You also had some cardiac issues on top of it. Plus, you're bleeding out somehow. And on top of it, some dog came and bit you and kicked you. Or another human came and stomped on you while you were down. Yeah. You didn't just have the boo-boo on your knee teaching you, oh, don't do that again. You're going to fall. You had, oh, shit storm. Okay. A solar storm. That's what it's called. So it's that is what it is also called. Sometimes it is referred to as a solar storm, a solar electromagnetic storm, when the flares come out like that, because it's going to mess up the wavelengths, or like the electromagnetic field, magnetic field, plus the wavelengths, plus anything that uses any type of towers, some minor satellite issues. And we are antennas. Humans are antennas, okay? You are an antenna. You pick up on other people's energy. You pick up on their social cues. You pick up on societal cues. You pick up on weird stuff like, oh, I think the gas is gonna go up, and look, lo and behold, it went up like $2 or like one. Realistically, it's still at $4. For something. There was a 444. Actually, I saw it when I was coming. But yeah, so huge crap storm. And also in one of my previous readings, I know that I had said, oh, a storm is coming, and then like not a tornado. I did dream of a tornado last night though, so it was a little crazy because in my dream, for whatever reason, I was at the beach, and I had my little child, and I remember thinking, oh, I'm gonna take him in. I didn't think about anything else. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna take him like out of the water and, you know, up on the beach, and we're gonna go. So I started doing that, and all of a sudden a huge swell came, and it actually put both of us under the water. But I was like, he's gonna be okay being under the water with me for like a couple seconds, and then I'll get him up and he could choke it all out, okay? So I'm holding him, and this is just extra. So I'm holding him, and I actually, you know, I lift him up more because I was like, I can stay underwater so long as I know his head is now above water. I'm okay with being stuck under the water for a little bit, so long as he's up here and he can breathe, right? We always, you know, we want to protect our kids. And obviously they're little, their lung capacity is smaller. You protect them because of that, like, if that makes sense. Like, they aren't emotionally as evolved as you are, so that is why you protect your kids. And in this case, you have the lung capacity, right? You're not like face mask on first, and then this is more like you are built for this. You are fucking built to last. You are built to be a parent. You are built to protect your kids. You are built for it. You have had the experiences. You have had the awful moments. You have had that emotional evolution to be a parent. You can do this. You have got this, okay? Someone needs that motivation. You have got this. You can do this. You can power through it. I know it's scary. I know you're going to fail. I know you have failed, but fix it. Fix it. It is never too late to fix it with your kids. Don't wait and wait and wait from, you know, don't spend years and months and days and just long hours beyond a fight, a small fight, and like lose that precious time you have with someone. Like, just let that pride, that ego go, let that fear go, and come from a place of love. Be vulnerable and be like, look, I messed up. I'm sorry. I know I messed up, and I am trying better. I have actual steps in place. I am actually reading books. I am actually, you know, I'm trying to evolve past this. I'm trying to talk to you because I want this to be a part of our evolution so we can grow together. But I want to be that person for you. I want to be that role model for you. I want to be socially and emotionally mature to be there for you. Don't let time pass over something stupid. Just don't. It's not worth it. You won't get that time back. But anyway, so I was holding my child above, and all of a sudden, like, the tide came super high up. Like, that swell, that wave was like a 10-foot wave, right? So I was clearly underwater just trying to kick. And I was just like, it's okay, just let me get out. And I could see other people, like, obviously trying to swim up the shore too. Anyways, we went into this building that was right there, and it was like a laundry, like a beach laundry unit. So then we go in, and then my mom was on the other end, and then I was like looking out the windows like this, because the windows were lined like this down the street, like parallel to the street. So I'm like looking, and I was like, there's a storm coming, because I could hear the wind and the rain started coming down, and obviously the huge swell of the tide coming up so far and forcing people out and off the beach, and obviously out of the water because you don't want to die. I don't know where my child went, by the way. I think someone else just took him, because at this point it was just me and my mom. And it was also symbolic though for me and her, because I think my mom is like a starseed, or she's just like a divine being, but she doesn't fucking remember it, and she let trauma hinder her. It's like there's a loop of trauma, and I can see it, and I can see it playing out, but then there's also parts of her that I know she hasn't seen yet. She doesn't see the value in certain ways she thinks, and it's kind of infuriating, but it's like you can't force someone to wake up. So I'm just like, you will wake up when you are meant to wake up, right? Because otherwise I feel like I wouldn't be the way I am if it wasn't for her, right? Yes, there's a lot of trauma there, but I think I've healed my part of it, most of it, a lot of it. I know that it's still very tender for her. But again, it's the guilt that's weighing her down. That fucking fear that says, oh, you fucked up on your kids. Oh, you know, that fear, that shame, that guilt. She is very guilt-ridden, especially because I can see it now in the younger siblings, where I'm like, where are your boundaries at? Women say no and mean no, you know? Like, you don't have, you know? The boundaries existed when we were around. Say no, mean no. Like, say it and mean it. But anyways, I think she's a little star seed. She just doesn't know it yet. She's like those earth angels. She just doesn't know it because she has so many fucking demons and little leeches around her. And I'm like, oh God. And I'm sure they don't mean, you know, to hurt her purposely, but they are hurting her indirectly. Does that make sense? So anyways, windows are parallel to the street like this, and it's like a busy street. Like, you can tell it looked like we were like spring breakish area type of like beachfront, like skyscrapers type of thing. Not like super high ones, just like 10 stories ones, 12-story ones. I don't know. But it's like this. And then I could see where the wind was clearly whipping over here because the beach was over here on my left and this mainland was to my right. The water wasn't like coming up anymore because I couldn't see it, obviously, because I was facing away from the beach towards the street and the buildings. So I'm like looking, and I saw where the wind was like really strong and I could obviously hear it. And in the building we were in, along the windows were those laundry tables. So like I was like leaning over one to look out, and then I could see my mom on the far end of the room, and there was like rows of laundry units like along that side, and then behind me too, like a lot of just a laundry room, right? But the tables were along the window sill area, and they were like kind of lifted. So I was like peeking and I'm looking, and then I see, and I'm like, a whole building literally looked like it, like, so like if these are the windows, right? The building was like this, and then you could see where it just went boom, and then it was like trying to get pulled up. So that's when I was like, oh. And I just remember I was just like, I looked at her too, and it was loud. It was so loud. Like when you know how they say it sounds like a freight train passing through when a tornado goes through. It was so loud, and that's why I was looking, because I was like, might as well look. You know, I don't know what to do right now. So I looked, and when I'm looking, that's when I see like the sky just turn like purple and super dark. I just remember the purple because I was like, oh, that's kind of pretty. It looked like a galaxy. And then it just turned into like a crap storm because I could see buildings like, again, that building just tipped and then like looked like it was gonna get pulled out. And that's when I was like, this is a tornado. I'm like, great. So I remember I'm like looking at my mom, and I'm like, it's a tornado, and I'm like screaming, and I'm like, get under the table, because I didn't know where else to put her. But I'm like, if you're between the building wall in my head and the table, the safest spot is right here, because if the wall collapses, it's gonna go over the table and fall like that. But so I was like, get under the table, because it was coming. Like I saw it, the funnel, and then I saw the funnel touch, and then I saw it like lift everything, and then I was just like, we're all gonna die. So then I was like, get under the table, and I'm like screaming at her, and then I was like, for whatever reason, I'm like, we're gonna be cold, or we're gonna need blankets. And there was blankets randomly chilling on the table. So like I grabbed them really quick, and obviously the storm was like probably like 2 blocks away. Like the tornado touching it's like it was a big one, but it was like 2 blocks away, I would say, or like 1. So I grabbed the blankets, and they were like little throw blankets. And it's funny because I actually have these throw blankets, like they're real blankets I have. So I was just like, oh, my blankets are here. I love blankets. I was just like, oh, my blankets are here. So I pick them up, and I run over to her, and we were still damp though because we had just come in from the beach. She was one of the people that was like floating in the water next to me, because I was like, we need to get out. I'm like, the water should not swell up like this. So I run over to her, and she's under the table like this, but I saw that she did fall. She fell, like when she went to get down, like she slipped and like went like on her tummy, and then was like rolled underneath a little bit, or like scooted over like this, like if you fall and then you scoot like this. It was really sad. So I go over to her, and I threw the little blankets on her, and then she's like, I just threw them on so because she could also dry off too. So I just threw them on her like really quick, and then she's just like, I'm really cold, me va dar un resfriado, which means like, or me va dar un aire. Pretty sure she said resfriado, which means like, I'm gonna get a chill though, because her back was towards the window and she was facing me, because I was like laying next to her, and I was trying to like cover her, like I was like squatting and laying and like trying to cover her. And I was just like, what? I'm like I know it's cold, but it shouldn't be that cold, you know, because the windows weren't broken. So I was just like, and I'm like, okay. And I went like this behind her, and it burned me from how fucking cold that air was, because it wasn't hitting me because she was blocking it. she was blocking the true blow of the storm in terms of the coldness. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely a tornado, because we had that cold front meet that warm front, and it just created the perfect storm. um this is just huge in terms of energy. So yeah, the cold front met the warm front, and the way it was hitting her, the window must have like cracked open, or I don't know, it was strange. Because so like she was under the table, threw the blanket on her, and then there was like a colcha, like a big comforter randomly around too. So then I grabbed that and I like completely covered her with it once I realized she was taking that storm, like the blow of the storm. Because I was just like, oh shit, like I didn't know you were this cold, like I didn't know this window was even hitting you. But it was so cold, like just reaching behind her to feel it, because I was like, are you damp, like what's going on? And where I reached behind her was where I felt it like burn, like frostbite instantly. And I was just like, oh, like, and she was taking it, and I could feel like breathing in the coldness. I could feel it. And so once I got her covered with the comforter, I remember I looked up, and like the sky was like a cool toned purple with like light pink. Um, and suddenly everything was still. And there was like a snowflake like drifting down. And I'm like, it's snowing. We're on a beach and it is snowing. So I'm just like, it is snowing. And I remember I ran like I went closer to the windows, but it kind of like became a broader window. Like it seemed like the wall was gone right there, because that's when I saw like the destruction, but then the absolute stillness. Like it was silent. After I covered her, it was just silent. And that's what made me look up, because I was like, what is happening? And when I looked up was when I saw nothing was moving. It was just all perfectly still. And that's when I'm like, I'm like, oh crap, we are in the eye of the storm. And that's when I saw like the snowflake just slowly drifting down. And I'm just like, and it was just crazy. And that's where my dream ended, where I just like went, I had her covered, and then I like stepped over her, and then I went like this, like to the windows, right? And I'm like looking, and that's when I saw like just up, and it was just like pinks and purples, and it was just snow, like a very, 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 very light drift, and super slow. But like it's almost like the intense coldness I felt when I first touched her though was also gone, and it was just like the mellow, slightly warm area. Because then I was like, oh, and here's the warm front, right? And I'm just like looking, and it was just crazy. And it just feels like in life too, I feel like for me, I don't even know how I got into this perfect storm story, but it's gonna be symbolic for someone. um but it feels like there have been so many situations that she has guarded us from, that we didn't even realize were so hurtful and detrimental to her health, because she shielded us from it. Were there things, obviously, like I said, there are things that cause shame and guilt from our upbringing, um but none that she should have to carry for this many years. And anytime we try to address it, she is an avoidant person. She will not talk about it, and I think it's because she thinks we're going to blame her. But I just want her to just admit it, to be able to admit it, to look it in the eye and be like, I'm gonna fuck you up, demon. I know your name. I know your fucking name, you fucking insecurity, you trigger, you wound, you festering, guilt-ridden mother. You know how they say you can't dispel a demon without knowing its name? I know your name, guilt. I know your name, shame. I know your name, fucking low self-esteem, lack of. Like, I know your name now. I can pull you the F out, because now I can find and trace that down to the root and find out why I felt that way. Did I make mistakes in my parenting as a young mom? Yes, but I was trying. And like, let me say yes though. And let me not feel guilty for it, not feel the shame for it, because I've already spent those years paying for it, paying for that pain, paying for that karma, whatever it is. But anyways, that dream was really symbolic. What was I saying? Oh, the solar storms and the solar flares. So the other thing too that I feel, obviously, since I had that dream and it was nuts, very lucid dreams. Extremely lucid. It felt like I was feeling all of it. So it was very strange. Cause then I was like consciously like responding to the dream. So it was interesting. But yeah, so I think the solar flares, the corona eruptions. It's like corona. It's a CME. I think is what it's called, but I can't remember what the M stands for. Maybe it is magnetic eruption. Corona magnetic magnetosphere. Is that a thing? I don't know. But oh wait, this is something else. What? Oh, I must have shuffled this while I was sitting. This says I am presence, light body activation, accessing the divine wisdom. And it's so cool because it looks like the corona eruption that I'm talking about. Like, and then like think of it like that, right? That's like God, that's source, that's the sun. And then you have this corona around it and it's erupting and it's connecting to you. It's connecting to your crown chakra and it's getting you these huge ass downloads. Because there was another reading I watched too. Oh, I can keep going on forever. There's another reading I watched where the reader said, prepare yourself like for the biggest download or something, or like you've had a huge download or something, just like a big aha moment, right? A big epiphany. And Spirit's like, I need you to talk about it though. It's kind of like, I can't refill your head until you dump out what's in it, right? With your storage. You cannot download a new application if your storage unit is full. You cannot put more into this storage unit because it is full. So I need you to go through what you need, throw out what you don't, and I need you to like verbally dump all this stuff out, which is probably why this video is so long, because it's like that verbal dumpage, that spilling. It's like you need to let those emotions and those words out of you so that Spirit can fill you with something new, with something wonderful, and with something that's going to help. And I don't mean like, oh, it's going to be all rainbow and glory and, you know, awesomeness. What I mean, it's going to be uplifting, it's going to be teachable, it's going to be a learning experience for you and the collective together. It's going to be something that can help empower everyone as a collective unit. Yeah, so I will see you all on the, you know what, no, I'm actually going to post this. It's not going to make sense because it's going to be out of order, but I'm posting it just because it's today. It's happening today, and it seems very, very important that everyone knows it's happening today. Whenever you watch this years later, it's happening today for you. So check out what's going on in the sky. Check out what's going on with you. Check out what's going on in your world around you. I am presence, light body activation, accessing the divine wisdom. Blah. Accessing the divine within. Accessing the divine within. Light body activation. Also, maybe that's what's going on. It's like you're ascending energetically and like in a spiritual enlightenment type of way. Like you're just being awoken on more than just, oh, my body, and oh, I can say I'm awakened. It's more like, I've seen shit. I've done it. I've lived it. I've experienced it. I can say I am woke. But what does that mean? It means I am aware. I am awareness. I am the teacher that teaches awareness. I am awareness by teaching. I'm awareness by method. I don't know. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you all later. I'm very, very proud of this reading. I'm very, very proud of you. It just feels like very, very proud energy. Like, I see you. I see you out there in the streets. But it just feels like that. Like, I see you. I feel you. I respect you and I honor you. I honor me. All right. This has been a really awesome, wonderful, beautiful reading. I hope you all have a beautiful, wonderful day. And as always, I wish you love and light and the strength and the patience and the spiritual stamina to keep going through whatever you're going through and make that shit your bitch. Okay? Own it. And grow beautifully and wonderfully from its ashes. Bye, guys.